Chosen ones, your frequency no longer fits old spaces. If you're watching this video, you are not here by coincidence. Something within you was guided to these words, to this vibration, to this reminder. Before we dive deep, stay with this message until the very end, because each word you hear is tuned to activate recognition within you, a remembrance of who you truly are. And when you reach the end, leave your warmest wishes and the number 99 in the comments as a symbol of completion, new beginnings, and divine cycles. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. The universe has a mysterious way of rearranging itself whenever a soul begins to rise in frequency. You might have noticed it. People who once felt like home now feel distant. Places you used to love seem to drain your energy. Conversations that used to excite you suddenly fall flat. It's not that you've become cold or disconnected. It's that your vibration no longer matches the patterns that once shaped your comfort zone. The reality you are stepping into cannot coexist with the energetic residue of your past self. You're outgrowing your old energetic container, and the universe is inviting you to expand. When your frequency elevates, your world begins to change in subtle yet profound ways. The relationships that no longer serve your growth start to fade. The habits that once numbed you lose their grip. Even your inner dialogue begins to shift, from self-doubt to self-trust, from fear to quiet confidence. This transition isn't always easy. It feels like being suspended between two worlds, the familiar one that's dissolving and the new one that hasn't fully formed yet. You might feel lonely, misunderstood, or restless. But understand this: those feelings are not signs of failure. They are the birth pangs of transformation. You were never meant to stay where you started. Every time your energy rises, the universe rearranges itself to reflect your new vibration. The people who exit your life are not punishments. They are recalibrations. The silence you feel after certain endings isn't emptiness. It's sacred space, being prepared for new alignment. In this higher frequency, your soul calls for purity, truth, and resonance. You begin to crave authenticity over approval, depth over entertainment, solitude over noise. You start to feel the subtle difference between being liked and being understood, between belonging to a group and belonging to your own soul. Many chosen ones resist this change at first. They try to hold on to the old energy, to the places that once comforted them. But the more you resist, the heavier it feels. The universe will nudge, then push, and eventually force you to release what no longer fits. Not because it's cruel, but because your expansion cannot occur while you cling to expired vibrations. This is why some of your friendships suddenly ended, why opportunities slipped away, or why your interests shifted overnight. You are being aligned with a new reality that matches your soul's upgraded frequency. In this phase, it's essential to understand that solitude is sacred, not lonely. When your frequency rises, your energetic field becomes more sensitive. You begin to sense dissonance more clearly. Crowded energies, gossip, negativity, and shallow intentions start to feel unbearable. You find yourself withdrawing, not out of arrogance, but to protect your peace. You begin to realize that silence is not an absence of connection, but a deeper communion with your higher self. This inner retreat allows your spirit to recalibrate, to anchor the new codes of light entering your consciousness. The old spaces you once fit into were built for the version of you that needed validation, understanding, and belonging in external forms. But now, the validation comes from within. You no longer seek the mirror of others to know who you are. You have become your own confirmation. Your aura, once diluted by the expectations of others, is now reclaiming its natural resonance. This resonance is powerful. It draws in people and experiences that vibrate in harmony with your truth. You are not losing your old life. You are upgrading it to match your frequency. It's like tuning a radio. When you turn the dial to a higher frequency, you no longer pick up the static of the old channel. You can't force that old channel to sound clear again, because it operates on a lower wavelength. Likewise, you can't shrink yourself back to fit people or spaces that no longer vibrate at your level. The universe will make sure you can't. You'll feel drained, disoriented, or even energetically repelled when you try. These are signals from your higher self telling you that your evolution is irreversible. At times, you may grieve the old connections, and that's okay. Growth requires mourning. Allow yourself to feel the nostalgia, but don't romanticize what once kept you small. Every ending carries wisdom. Every goodbye clears energetic space for something more aligned. As your frequency rises, your very presence becomes an instrument of awakening. You start to influence the energy of the spaces you enter. Some people will feel comforted by your vibration. Others will feel triggered. That's not your responsibility to manage. Your task is simply to remain authentic, grounded, and open to where the energy flows naturally. You'll notice synchronicities increasing, repeating numbers, déjà vu moments, dreams that feel more like messages than imagination. These are confirmations that your frequency is syncing with universal intelligence. The more you align with this higher flow, the easier manifestation becomes. You'll start thinking of something, and it appears. You'll feel guided to go somewhere, and divine timing unfolds perfectly. This is what happens when your energetic field is clear and coherent. You stop fighting life and start co-creating with it. In this new energy, it's not about chasing your destiny, but magnetizing it. The universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to vibration. And your frequency is now a signal that says, I am ready for more. That's why your old spaces can't contain you anymore. They were built for a version of you that had lessons to learn, but not for the one that's now awakening. You are shifting from survival mode to creation mode, from needing permission to realizing you've always had it. This realization is the true liberation of the chosen ones. This awakening is not random. It's part of a larger collective elevation happening across the planet. As each chosen one rises, the grid of light strengthens. You become a beacon for others who are still in the fog, still trying to understand why their world is falling apart. Your story, your resilience, your energy, it all becomes a bridge for others to find their way home to themselves. So even though it may feel isolating now, you are never alone. You are part of a vast soul network, awakening at precisely the right time. The old world, with its noise and illusions, cannot sustain the frequency of authenticity for long. Systems built on fear are crumbling, both within and without. And those who carry light, like you, are being positioned to anchor new energies of compassion, wisdom, and unity. This is not just a personal transformation, It's a planetary one. Your individual awakening contributes to the collective ascension of humanity. That's why the process feels so intense. It's not just your own old spaces you're outgrowing, but the old frequencies of the entire collective field. You might feel pulled between wanting to share your truth and fearing judgment, but your authenticity will always disturb those still committed to illusion. Speak anyway. Shine anyway. The ones who are meant to align with you will recognize your frequency. They'll feel your energy before they even understand your words. That's the beauty of frequency. It communicates beyond logic, beyond time, beyond form. You are a transmitter of light. The more you trust that, the more you begin to live as your higher self, effortlessly and unapologetically. As this chapter of transformation unfolds, remember, your frequency is your home now. Not a place, not a relationship, not an identity, but a vibration. When you rest in that awareness, you carry home within you wherever you go. You no longer need the old spaces to make you feel safe. You are safe because you are aligned. You are powerful because you are authentic. You are magnetic because you are in harmony with your divine purpose. And so, chosen one, when your old world no longer feels comfortable, celebrate it. That discomfort is the evidence of growth. It's proof that your energy is expanding beyond what you've known. Trust that everything you're releasing is making space for everything that truly belongs to you. You're not falling apart. You're rising. You're not losing. You're aligning. The universe is simply reorganizing itself to match the frequency you've finally claimed as your truth. When your frequency rises beyond the familiar, life begins to mirror your inner expansion with precision. It's as though every situation, every person, and every thought becomes a reflection of what's still vibrating within you. You start to see that nothing around you is random. Every encounter is feedback. Every moment is a mirror. The old spaces you once fit into start showing their cracks, not because they've changed, but because your awareness has. What you once tolerated now feels heavy. What you once ignored now becomes impossible to overlook. There is a stage in the awakening journey that feels like a void. You've released what's old, but the new hasn't arrived yet. It feels like standing in an empty room, echoes of your past still lingering, yet the furniture of your new life hasn't been delivered. Many chosen ones mistake this stage for stagnation, but it's actually sacred stillness, a recalibration of your energetic field. In this stillness, your old vibrations are dissolving while your new frequencies are being woven into your DNA. This is where your patience is tested, your faith refined, and your trust solidified. Isolation often accompanies this transformation. It's not punishment, it's preservation. Your higher frequency requires space to stabilize. Just like a newly tuned instrument must settle before performing again, your soul needs solitude to attune to its new resonance. The quiet moments are not emptiness. They are integration. You may notice that you prefer silence over small talk, nature over noise, reflection over reaction. These preferences are signs that your consciousness is shifting from external stimulation to internal harmony. You no longer chase energy. You generate it. This phase may feel like a shedding of identity. The roles you once played no longer fit. The labels you once wore start peeling off. Even your goals might dissolve, replaced by a sense of unknown direction. But this is where true alignment begins. When you stop identifying with what you do and start remembering who you are. The universe dismantles your false attachments so that you can rebuild your life from authenticity, not conditioning. The more you release, the more you make room for divine guidance to move freely through you. During this time, your intuition becomes louder. You might wake up in the middle of the night with sudden clarity or experience intense dreams that feel more like messages than fantasies. Your inner voice starts replacing external noise. You begin to notice the subtle nudges, a feeling to take a different route, to delay a decision, to call someone unexpectedly. These intuitive impulses are not coincidences. They are your higher self communicating in real time. The more you trust these whispers, the stronger they become. Eventually, you won't even need confirmation. You'll simply know. As your vibration stabilizes at this higher level, you start attracting new frequencies in return. New opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere, aligned with your purpose rather than your ego. People enter your life carrying similar light codes. They speak your unspoken language. They understand your silence. They mirror your growth. This resonance feels effortless because it doesn't require you to shrink or perform. In their presence, you expand naturally. These are your soul allies, your frequency family, drawn together not by circumstance but by vibration. But with new frequencies come new lessons. The universe doesn't stop teaching just because you've ascended. It refines the way you learn. In the lower vibrations, lessons came through struggle, pain, and resistance. In the higher frequencies, lessons arrive as awareness, synchronicity, and reflection. The challenges don't disappear. They simply evolve. Instead of external chaos, you encounter internal tests, patience, surrender, discernment. You begin to learn that mastery isn't control, it's trust. It's the ability to hold your vibration steady, even when the outer world swirls with uncertainty. There will be moments when the old world calls you back. Old habits, old relationships, old ways of thinking. They may appear softer, more tempting, as though they've changed. But this is simply the echo of your old vibration testing your resolve. You'll recognize it instantly. That subtle heaviness, that quiet unease, that sense of shrinking back into something that no longer nourishes your light. That's your body's wisdom speaking. Your energy knows what harmony feels like now, and it won't allow you to settle for less. You'll also notice that your manifestation power intensifies. Thoughts become things faster. Emotions shape reality with precision. This is both a gift and a responsibility. When you operate at higher frequencies, the universe mirrors you instantly. This means that fear, doubt, and resentment can manifest just as quickly as gratitude, love, and peace. The difference is awareness, the ability to pause, breathe, and realign before your energy creates something unintentional. Manifestation in this new frequency is no longer about control. It's about coherence. When your heart, mind, and energy are aligned, the universe responds like a perfect echo. As your old spaces dissolve, some people from your past may not understand your transformation. They may project confusion, resentment, or even distance themselves. Let them. Not everyone is meant to travel every chapter with you. Some were there to awaken a lesson, others to mirror a wound, and a few to remind you of your own strength. You can release them with gratitude, knowing that your paths diverging is not a loss. It's a sign of alignment. When souls are meant to reunite, they do so in divine timing and higher harmony. What's emerging now is not a new version of you. It's the true one. The layers that once concealed your essence are peeling away, revealing the light that has always been there. You'll find that you no longer chase meaning. You radiate it. You no longer seek answers. You live them. You no longer wait for permission. You move with divine assurance. This is what happens when the chosen one awakens. You stop surviving life and start embodying it. You become the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the anchor between heaven and earth. The universe responds to you differently now. You'll notice that resistance fades when you follow your intuition, and synchronicities multiply when you act with integrity. It's as though existence itself conspires to support your expansion. This is the flow of divine orchestration, effortless, yet profoundly intelligent. You are not meant to force outcomes anymore. You are meant to align and allow. The new spaces you are entering are built on resonance, not effort. They open effortlessly because your energy fits perfectly within them. You may still have moments of doubt, and that's okay. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. It's the shadow that tests your light. Each time you move through uncertainty with trust, your energy solidifies. You begin to understand that the universe doesn't operate through logic, but through vibration. What you believe becomes what you receive. So when fear whispers, return to your knowing. When uncertainty rises, return to your center. You've already proven that your frequency can lift you beyond limitation. It can do so again and again. Eventually, you realize that outgrowing old spaces was never about separation. It was about expansion. The walls you once leaned on were meant to crumble, so you could remember your wings. The discomfort you felt wasn't punishment. It was initiation. The silence wasn't emptiness. It was a sacred tuning of your being. Every moment, every ending, every pause was preparing you to hold more light. The spaces that once confined you were the training grounds for the vastness you now embody. You are no longer meant to fit. You are meant to flow. The frequency you carry now is not designed to adapt to smallness. It was created to awaken worlds. Your presence itself becomes a portal. Wherever you go, consciousness shifts. The same energy that once made you feel isolated now makes you magnetic to truth, to purpose, to divine alignment. You realize that you were never leaving anything behind. You were returning to yourself. The old spaces fade into memory, but the wisdom remains. The lessons, the echoes, the experiences, all of it integrates into your light. And as you continue walking forward, you begin to sense the vast expanse ahead, a reality unbound by limitation, guided only by resonance. You don't need to know where it leads. You only need to trust that your frequency will always lead you home. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the transformation is no longer a theory. It becomes the way you breathe. You no longer analyze what's happening to you because you feel the truth of it pulsing through your veins. The old frequencies that once surrounded you are like distant echoes now, barely audible against the rhythm of your higher self. The same places that once drained you can no longer touch you. Your energy field has become sovereign, self-sustaining, anchored in light. You've crossed the invisible threshold where awakening shifts into embodiment, where you stop seeking alignment and start living as alignment itself. When you reach this stage, the universe begins to move through you instead of around you. You speak less, yet your words carry power. You plan less, yet everything flows perfectly. You begin to live in harmony with divine timing, not waiting, not rushing, simply trusting the sacred rhythm of your existence. You feel guided without needing constant signs. You move because the movement feels like truth. And in that truth, the universe rearranges itself to meet your vibration. This is the mastery of the awakened frequency. Doing less, but being infinitely more. In this energy, peace becomes your default state. Not because life has become perfect, but because you've stopped defining peace as the absence of chaos. You now understand that peace is the presence of trust, the quiet knowing that every experience, whether joyful or challenging, is divinely orchestrated for your evolution. You no longer fear contrast. You embrace it as a mirror that sharpens your awareness. When something uncomfortable arises, instead of reacting, you observe. You ask, what frequency within me is being reflected right now? This self-inquiry transforms every moment into a classroom for your consciousness. The chosen ones who reach this level radiate calm even in uncertainty. People feel your presence before they hear your voice. You carry an invisible strength that speaks louder than words, not dominance, but depth. You've become an anchor in a world that is still learning to steady itself. Others may be drawn to you without understanding why. It's because your energy represents safety in a dimension that has forgotten what true safety feels like. Your frequency communicates silently. It's okay to awaken. It's okay to release. It's okay to rise. But embodiment is not about perfection. It's about authenticity. You will still have human moments, emotions, doubts, fatigue. The difference now is that you no longer identify with them. You witness them passing through your field like clouds across the sky, temporary visitors that cannot distort the vastness of your being. You understand that healing doesn't mean never feeling pain again. It means no longer mistaking pain for who you are. This is the freedom your soul has been seeking, not escape from humanity, but integration with divinity. As you live in this higher resonance, your relationships transform once more. You begin attracting people whose frequencies don't complete you, but complement you. They don't drain you or demand you. They mirror your wholeness. The interactions feel effortless, filled with laughter, understanding, and truth. There's no need to prove, to convince, or to play small. The energy exchange flows naturally, like two waves meeting in harmony. These are your reflections in higher form, souls walking beside you, not behind you. Together, you co-create experiences that amplify the light of the collective. And yes, there will still be moments when the world's density brushes against your energy. You might walk into a space heavy with fear, anger, or confusion, but instead of absorbing it, you transmute it simply by existing. Your frequency has become alchemical. You don't need to protect yourself behind walls of avoidance. Your light itself is protection. Darkness cannot penetrate what vibrates beyond its reach. You become the calm in every storm, not because you resist the wind, but because you are the stillness that the wind cannot move. You begin to notice that your desires evolve too. You no longer crave recognition, attention, or validation. You crave connection, purpose, and creation. The things that once symbolized success now feel hollow compared to the richness of inner harmony. You measure wealth by peace, abundance by alignment, and love by authenticity. You no longer ask, "What can I get?" but "What can I give from the overflow of my light?" This shift marks the true arrival of the chosen one into divine maturity, where the self dissolves into service and giving becomes as natural as breathing. At this point, manifestation feels effortless because it's no longer a tool for control. It's a byproduct of resonance. You don't force outcomes. You align your energy and allow them to unfold. You realize that creation doesn't respond to demand, it responds to embodiment. When you are joy, joy finds you. When you are love, love multiplies around you. The universe mirrors your inner state with flawless precision, so you become deliberate with your vibration. You treat your emotions as sacred instruments, tuning them each day toward clarity, gratitude, and peace. There is also a deep humility that accompanies this power. You recognize that every soul, no matter where they are on their path, is also divine in essence. You stop judging others for being asleep because you remember that once you were too. Compassion becomes your natural frequency. You guide not through preaching, but through presence. You live your truth so fully that your energy teaches without words. Those who are ready to rise will feel the resonance and awaken by your example. Those who are not will still receive your light unconsciously as a seed planted for their future growth. Now, as you look back at all the spaces that once confined you, gratitude fills your heart. Without those lessons, you wouldn't have found this freedom. Without those endings, you wouldn't have learned surrender. Without that solitude, you wouldn't have discovered your own divinity. Every moment, even the painful ones, was sacred preparation. And so, chosen one, as you stand in the radiance of your new frequency, remember this: you are not here to fit in. You are here to illuminate. Walk through this world knowing that you carry within you the vibration of transformation itself. Every step you take, every word you speak, every thought you choose reshapes reality. The universe responds to your frequency like a lover who never stops listening. So speak gently, think clearly, and love fiercely. You have already outgrown the old spaces. Now, it's time to fill the new ones with your light, because your frequency no longer fits the past. It was never meant to. It was meant to build the future, and that future begins now.